What's up, YouTube? ODST General back again. We've got a Operation Trebuchet update, not a news update, an actual update. This is version 0.17 released today. Well, maybe yesterday, depending on when you watch this, or quite some time ago. At any rate, we're going to go over all the stuff released in this, fixed, changed, tweaked, whatever. Let's get into it. Cross-branch BDUs. This is one of the bigger things in the update. Basically, all of the UNSC uniforms for the Marines have been revamped. You've got short sleeve versions, rolled up, long sleeve, t-shirts. You've got ODST versions. You've got basically all of the classic camouflages have been redone in new versions. This is more lore-friendly, more screen-accurate, I should say, to Halo Reach. The other big thing with this one is that the vests on the Marine armor, all the armor, shoulder armor, leg armor, all that has been put onto the vest slot. So you still have your light, heavy, and medium variants, but instead of that being attached to the BDU, when you put the BDU on, it is just the BDU. There is a couple of issues with clipping from what I've been told. I didn't have a whole lot of time to look at this stuff this morning, trying to get through everything. Bear in mind that they'll probably redo some of the stuff on the vests at a later date to fix any of those issues with the new uniforms, but it's really awesome looking. Spartan 2s. Spartan 2s have been added into the main branch. They were in Optray Z previously. With their addition to the main branch, they also gained basically the ability to put in any Optray items into the Spartan armor, into their vest. That way they don't actually require a backpack for them. In addition to that, the EVA helmet was added to the list of options, giving a pretty good recreation of the spy armor. Obviously there's major differences, the functionality is not there, but yeah, basically it looks like the spy armor. You've also got an Emil version of that helmet, also dubbed in-game as I Would Have Been Your Daddy helmet. Dress uniforms have been added. These are basically the Marine, Navy, and ODST variants of the dress uniforms, although the Marine version's kind of the same thing Captain Keyes had, so it's not necessarily Marine, I don't know. Anyways, these basically come with 3 specialized dress uniforms and a dress cap, as you guys can see. Beyond that, we've got physical fitness uniforms. These come in 2 flavors, ODST and Marine. The Marine version is just a basic green t-shirt that says UNSC, and then the ODST version says ODST with the black t-shirt, black shorts. Patrol caps for Army and Marines have been added, so there's only 2 of these right now. The Army variant, which is from Reach, and then the Marine variant, which might also be from Reach, but it's very different looking, so I'm not sure if that's more so based off the other Halo games. The Army variant is a lot more solid looking, I guess you could say, but it stands out a lot more. It's very unique. Iberus, this one's really exciting for me. I really like the Iberus terrain. It's been added into the main mod. Previously, this was available as a separate side mod that was dependent on Tanoa. With the release of Tanoa content being opened up to the community, this is now being included in the main mod. During its time away, there was a couple of modifications made to the map, some real minor tweaks and changes here and there. What's really cool about this map is that, while it is a small map, it is more designed towards PvE rather than PvP like the previous maps have been. And while those PvP maps are really good quality maps, the Optray community doesn't do a lot of PvP, so they don't get used all that much. Metagel. I haven't actually found this one yet. I didn't have a chance to find it while I was searching around this morning. Hopefully I'll have that in the footage here for you guys. It probably works like biofoam or something, I'd imagine, but I guess we'll find that out once I actually find it in-game and figure out how to use it. The M247 GPMG, or General Purpose Machine Gun. Shadow, thank you very much for this. This is a very special gift to me. I've said this time and time and time again. The M247 is probably one of, if not my favorite Halo weapons. You really don't get to use it a whole lot during the campaigns. It's basically mounted machine gun throughout Halo 2, and then they've got a different variant of it in Reach. And while we've had the static Reach version for a while from Opcan, this mobile version is closer to the Halo 2 version that I like a little bit more. So I'm very excited about this thing. It's an awesome weapon. It can use all the different optics from the mod. It's got it doesn't have any barrel attachments or anything like that, but it does have bipods and stuff you can put on there. The M393 DMR. This was the M395 in Optray Z. It was renamed into the M393 coming into Optray. Now, I'm not too familiar with Halo 4 and Halo 5's weapons as far as the actual designations officially go for them, so I'm assuming that 393 was actually the correct naming for this, as opposed to the 395, because the original was 295. Along with the DMR, though, we got 3 new optics that were designed specifically for it, but it works really well with these new weapons that are being designed for the mod. It seems like the devs are trying to kind of better align the materials used on the weapons so that they look a little bit more similar and consistent throughout. So the 3 new optics are a magnified 3D scope, a CQB collimator, and a 2D multi-zoom scope. All of these are really good looking stuff. They're all very useful for their various purposes. And, you know, they work with the other weapons now, not just the M393. H19 Smart Finder Designator. This one was worked on by Jedi Nick. It's basically, it's a laser designator, just like what it says. You know, it's a rangefinder and all that stuff. This is the binocular Sergeant Forge used in one of the Halo Wars 1 cutscenes, where he's spying on the Arbiter. It's really good looking. There was a small bug I found with it this morning. Hopefully it won't be too long until that's fixed, well, like a hot fix or something. But it's a really minor bug, and chances are most people will never find it, hopefully. Beyond that, Jedi Nick's got a few other things up his sleeve that he's been working on. C12 Explosive Charge, M154 Mine, C7 Foaming Explosive, and M168 Demolition Charge. So these are basically all various explosives that have been added to the mod. Most of them are touch off. Obviously the mine is not. To be honest with this mine, it is very screen accurate. It's probably not the first mine I would have chosen from Halo to put into the game. I probably would have personally gone with the Type 14 to put in, because it's a little, well, it's a lot more low-key. The M154 has got a giant red button, as you guys can see. But what are you going to do, right? The HUD has been re-implemented. It must be manually turned on to avoid possible future issues, as the changelog indicates. Now, if you want to turn on the HUD, you have to press the app key. The app key is the one next to the Windows key near the right side of your keyboard. And my keyboard, it looks like a little list with an arrow pointing at it. But yeah, you have to press that. That should activate the HUD. The HUD's on all the same stuff it used to be, so the ODST helmets, the HUD glasses, and the scouter piece from Dragon Ball Z. I mean, the Marine Scouter. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, anyways. It is not currently on the Spartan helmets, but from what I've been told, the Spartan helmets do have thermals integrated into them. I didn't check that out, but that should be pretty interesting to use. Several new signs and objects. So there is a ton of new signs. The biggest thing that I find of interest here is there's a lot of signs for the city of Luxor. I believe the devs in the past have mentioned that they had intended to work on Luxor at one point in time, if I remember correctly. So we might be seeing that sooner rather than later, given the amount of unique signage for the city we are seeing in this update. So fingers crossed for another PvE environment. Maybe something a little bit bigger than Iberus, which is still really cool. And then, you know, that's where the added list ends, but there's a couple other things they forgot. Specifically, there's turrets added, the static turrets from the Warthog mountings. These are the ones seen in Halo 3 ODST. Basically, it's a static platform, and all the Warthog turrets that are in the game are just basically plopped on these platforms, and they're just static pieces. So you got a static Gauss mount, static tow missile, static machine gun, all that stuff is added in now. Really cool stuff. I was very excited for this because these are going to be awesome. Probably going to see a lot of these cropping up in missions, I'd imagine, in place of just throwing Warthogs all over the place at players. Let's see here. Beyond that, we've got a upgraded version of the vehicle lift system, but we've also gotten the vehicle supply pod system. So basically this is integrated into the game. You don't have to go into Eden to set this up or anything. It's really awesome. You just take the tow cart or maintenance cart, those little yellow vehicles or green or whatever color you pick, and you drive up to the back of a Pelican, pop up your scroll wheel, and you'll see an option to fit supply pods. Now, once you get in here, you can select random supply pods. You can go in there and actually pick specifically what you want to add to the Pelican. There's the Pelican pilot you can take off. Same thing, your scroll wheel up, it'll pull up that menu. You have the option to either just unload it, which drops all 6 supply pods or however many supply pods you have on you, just randomly drops them all down really close together. Or you can choose to drop one at a time. So say maybe you've got a few different squads that are in need of supplies and they're in different areas. So you drop off medical supplies for one squad, and then maybe like AT supplies and some medical supplies for another squad somewhere else. So it's got a lot of interesting possibilities, and it should be very, very cool tool for the flyboys and various units. So those are the additions to the mod. I may have missed something, but that's all that's in the patch notes, and that's all that I've really noticed while playing myself so far today. So let's go ahead and hit the fixed category. Fixed. Falcon Canopy was not protecting pilot. Now, I've heard this is still not working properly. I personally don't know. I've not really had too many issues as a Falcon pilot ever, but I'm usually flying pretty fast and don't do it a whole lot. Overwrite issues with third-party terrains. So there were some issues with terrains such as... oh, gosh, I can't remember the stupid terrain now. The one that was basically from the Avatar mod that uses some like Optray content and stuff, and I cannot remember the terrain's name all of a sudden. It starts with a P. Anyways, so any issues with like third-party terrains having like things like grass and stuff disappear when using Optray has been fixed. They've fixed some minor issues with gridlock. They've fixed recoil issues on the Warthog weapons, which is fantastic. Unless you're getting shot at by the Warthog, then it means it's going to be a lot easier to get shot again. The Jenna had some sort of bone air. I'm not really sure what was going on with that. I never really noticed that while driving it, but apparently it was on there and it's been fixed, so that's always good. They fixed broken Warthog picture-in-picture screens. Spartan helmets providing no protection. They fixed non-medical hardtents using medical textures. Ace compatibility, okay, so this is tweaked, not fixed. Ace compatibility moved over to a separate side mod. So now if you guys want to be compatible with Ace, any Ace compatibility that was in the game has been removed from Optray and put into a side mod. If you guys look up Article 2 Studios on Steam, you will find the side mod for that. Apologies about knocking that over there. Got a little bit... gesturous with my hands. Let's see here. So yeah, separate side mod. UNSC vehicle colors tweaked to the standard shade of green, other variants to follow. So yeah, basically the tank and the bison, all that stuff should be the same shade of green, if not very close to it. All armor plating moved over to vest slots, except ODSTs. That will come later, so basically said this already. The insurrectionists haven't been touched, so that's, you know, really not the case with them either, but they use traditional armor for the most part. I think actually, even if they're using marine armor, I guess that would have automatically updated for them too. Let's see here. Ace-specific hit points added. Wounds should be more consistent now. So basically, you know, if you get shot in the shoulder, you take shoulder damage. If you get shot in the leg, you take leg damage. You get shot in the face, well, you're probably going to die. Battle rifle and rocket launcher optics have been changed to be more similar to the games. So minor tweaks, but big thing still, nonetheless. Weapon weight slightly reduced. Oh, thank you guys. So weapons are going to be a little bit less heavy, meaning it's going to be easier to get around, because we all know walking simulator, having heavy weapons and stuff kind of stinks. Basically forcing people to kind of forego taking certain weapons because they're just a little too heavy to take into combat. Military wall gate now has open and close animations. When I tried this out earlier, it seemed to be broken. I only tried it on one of the 2 gates they have currently, so it might be working on one and not on the other. Improved Warthog brakes, so the Warthog should stop faster. Pretty simple. Vehicles, missiles, tweak slightly, so I'm assuming that's, I don't know, ooh, that didn't sound good. Like the longsword or something. I'm not really positive what's benefited from this missiles tweaked. Pelican rockets adjusted to be more accurate. I know that's a big thing a lot of people have complained about, is the Pelican rockets have had a lot of issues hitting on sight. Sorry guys, the cats are all of a sudden going crazy. MA5C now has color match SmartLink optic. So basically the cover on the MA5C and MA5B used the same cover in the last update, so if you're using the SmartLink on the MA5C, you would have a black cover instead of a silver one. Really minor tweak, now you have both a silver and black one for those weapons, so you can actually use the appropriate color when you're using the SmartLink scope, so it blends a little bit better. Updated all op tray items to be carryable in vest and uniform for Spartans. Changed MA5A to MA3A. Class names remain the same. So basically this is just a aesthetic change to the name. The MA5A, which was the version without the ammo counter, has been renamed the MA3A. Added 3 GLs to AR GLs. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. But yeah, cool. Always nice. More stuff, right? Maglift system improved considerably. We already covered this. Vehicles that weren't really being carried too well are going to work a little bit better for you guys now. Pedestrian bridges raised so that the Scorpion can fit under them. So yeah, basically higher pedestrian bridges, just like what it sounds like. Speaking of Scorpions, their armor has been reduced moderately. What moderately is, we'll find out, I guess, with some playtesting. But Scorpions were probably a little too beefy, so that's a good thing. Bringing a little bit more in line with some other tanks. Obviously, using Ace and stuff like that, it's not going to be 100%. Always one hit or always so many hits. Sometimes you'll get lucky and hit something that gets it killed quick. On the other side of that, though, you've got the armor of Bisons being increased moderately. The splash damage of the S1 canister rounds has been reduced. And finally, the removed, the dreaded category. So obviously, as far as removing stuff goes, the big thing for this one is the old uniforms for the UNSC. The Marine uniforms, the Army uniforms, all that, the vests and stuff have been removed. Usually that's mainly just renaming the class names is what that really comes down to. Not much else to say in that front. In addition to that, the Colonial Guard PD grouping has been removed as well. They did use the same uniforms as the Marines. There isn't a retexture of these guys. They're probably doing something uniform-wise to be like accurate to Halo 3 ODST with them. With that being said, Insurrection Plus has Colonial Guard. The Colonial Guard inside of OpCan, I believe, should be functioning fine, and they've got the custom helmets that look like the SWAT guys from Halo 3 ODST. So, something we probably shouldn't have to worry too much about there. Old boonie hats and patrol caps have been temporarily removed, just like the Colonial PD. There's one remaining in each of those categories. There's an ODST boonie and a Navy patrol cap that are still in. And editor preview images have been temporarily removed. So, 20 minutes. That is everything in the update, guys. Or at least everything I found that's included in the patch notes and a couple things that weren't. Bear in mind, the devs like to not include everything in the patch notes, and, while I'm creating my map, I tend to find stuff hidden in the back end that's not publicly released yet, so as I go forward, bugs are found, things like that, I'll continue coverage of OpTray as always. In the meantime, comment below, let me know what you guys think of this update. What's your favorite part of it? What are you looking forward to next? And I will see you guys in the next video.